Hello again. Today I'm going to show you something different. How about this? Well, this isn't actually what I'm going to talk about, but I thought it was a rather nice Hoover sign, so I thought I'd show you for the people out there who like to see Hoover items. That's an original display sign that we had in our shop with a very nice young lady on it, I think you'll agree. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about, so I'm going to pop that back there and use it as a backdrop. Allow me to introduce the Hoover Suitcase Cleaner, otherwise known as the Hoover Portable. That's the correct name, is the Hoover Portable. Now, for obvious reasons, you can see why we call it the Hoover Suitcase. I'll turn it round because it is like a suitcase. We always call it the Suitcase Cleaner. This was first manufactured in 1965. There are 3 versions of it, but they were all basically the same. The first one came out in 1965. That was a 2106, which was in a lovely green colour scheme, much nicer than this one. This is the second one. This is 2154, which came out a year later in 1966 in the orange and brown scheme. Personally, I prefer the green. They also did a later model called the 2209, which was basically the same machine. That came out a year later again in 1967, and the only difference really was that that one had an automatic cord rewinder on it, but I don't think I ever saw one of those, to be honest. Now, if I tell you these are quite rare, let me put it in perspective. In about 35 years of Hoover servicing in our shop, I only ever saw about 3 of these in total. So you can see, you know, it is quite a rare machine. I don't think Hoover sold many. They didn't make them in the UK, unusually. Most of the Hoover cleaners were made at Perivale in Greenfield in Middlesex, London. But these were made in France by Hoover SA in France for Hoover UK, which is a bit of a shame, really. I don't think they made them very long because I don't think they sold very well. The reason is that at first it looks a very practical machine. You think, brilliant, everything's compact, there's no hoses, you can tuck it away in the cupboard, you know, it's got wheels, you can stand it up like this and use it in this direction, or you can use it flat like that on the floor. The problem is that it's not practical to use. It's blooming awkward, actually. I'm just going to open the lid so you can have a look inside. If I can press that little catch up look. There you can see inside, it's very compact. All the tools are fitted in the lid, and you've got the hose which is wrapped round here. And as you can see, it's very tidy. You can see the attraction. You can put it away in the cupboard and there's no hose to trip over or anything, no tools to lose, they're all in here. The problem lies in the fact when you come to use it, it is more awkward. Firstly, you've got to unwind this hose, and unlike Hoover hoses of the day, the same time this came out, this isn't a double stretch hose. Most of the hoses they used on Sillers at the time, like the Constellation, were what they called double stretch hoses. This is not so flexible and not so manoeuvrable, and it is quite awkward. It's not just the fact that when you're using it it's awkward. It's awkward to put it back in. I mean, look at this. If you want to wrap this back in there, it's hell of a fiddle, really. You've got to wrap it all around here, and now it's getting kinked, you see. It's quite a problem actually getting it back in the case. Otherwise it'll stick up, and then you've got to lay this down the side here, and then the end of the hose fitting here gets caught up in this catch, and often it breaks that off, as you can see has happened on this one, look, because when you shut the lid it grabs all of that. So, you know, that is a problem with it. You can take the hose out. I won't take it out because it's going to be easier to show you the rest of it. I'll just take this, you twist this right round like that, and then it should unclip. And you can take it out of the way. We'll put that out of the way for now, look. In the lid you've got the tools. Obviously there's the Hoover floor tool of its day, automatic and manual. You just flick the lever to lock the brush in or out. Then you've got the crevice tool which goes in here, which isn't in there at the moment. Your all-purpose tool, a little round dusting brush, and of course the extension tube, which is telescopic, as you can see. Rather than the 2 normal tubes supplied, you get a telescopic tube. You can see the little pips broken off that one as well. Fits in there. Now, as far as paper bags are concerned, you've got a little tiny catch here, like a little cam catch. Turn that off, that lifts up, and inside you've got this bag rack, a metal rack here, which takes Hoover Constellation 862, 867 paper bags. So even though this is quite old, and there's not many on the boat, you can still get bags to fit it because it's the same constellation bags. The bag just fits in there. Normally there's a paper cardboard filter goes in there. I've taken this one out. It was probably worn out. I have got a spare one somewhere, so that's where the bags go. The motor used in here is practically identical to the one used in the Hoover 1124, 1128 Hoover convertible. I'm talking about the UK convertible because in America the convertible was a different animal. It's the same as our senior. I believe the American version of our convertible was called a Dynamatic, but that's another story. Anyway, it uses a Hoover UK convertible motor, or basically the same. It's certainly got the same armature, field windings and all the other parts. The motor's rated at 840 watts. For back in 1966, that was quite a powerful motor, and it runs at 21,000 RPM, by the way. Now, I'm not going to propose to take this apart today because I haven't got time to do much on it. And I don't even know whether it works because it's been in my shed for something like 35 years, I imagine. I chucked it in there and forgot about it. But when I get time, I will do a video on it and I'll take it apart and show you what it's like inside, and we'll try and get it going. But anyway, I think you'll agree it's quite an interesting machine, but it's just not very practical. But it's nice to have one, I think, because I bet there aren't many of these about. I'd be interested to know if anybody else has got one in the UK anyway. So that's about it, folks, the Hoover convertible. I hope you found it of interest. And perhaps in the future I'll take it apart and show you the insides and the ins and outs of it. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Bye for now, and I'll see you in the next video shortly. Goodbye. Anyway, it's quite a powerful motor. It's rated 840 knots. I think I got that wrong. That's a good one, isn't it? Oh, blimey. That's the trouble trying to do things off the top of your head. I'll get my composure in a minute, folks. The motor's rated at 840 watts, not knots. I'll do that bit again. The motor's rated at 840 watts and actually runs at about 21,000 RPM, which is quite fast for a Hoover motor. So it is quite a powerful machine, actually. What was I going to say? I've forgotten that. Do you know, I've forgotten entirely. Yeah, I'm going to do all that bit again.